All right, perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know it's 9 a.m. on a Saturday, and it's tempting to just sleep in. I know the feeling. But we really appreciate you joining us virtually today for the College of Liberal Arts um, uh, Rebel Preview today. My name is Cheryl Tillotson. I am the director for the Wilson Advising Center for the College of Liberal Arts. We are a very large campus, and we are a very large college within our campus. Our College of Liberal Arts is large by the number of faculty and staff we have, by the number of degree programs we offer to students, as well as the courses we offer and the number of students we have in our college. And undergrad undergraduates, we have about 3,500 active students right now. So it is a very large college, and we are a great college, and we're thrilled that you're here with us today to learn a little bit more about us. I always think it's really important, though, to introduce our leadership during any presentation I give. We have an amazing leadership team. They're wonderful, extremely student-centered and supportive. Our dean is Dr. Jennifer Keene, and she's also a professor of sociology. Dr. Denise Tillery is our associate dean for students, and she is a professor of English. And Dr. John Tuman is our Associate Dean for Faculty and Professor of Political Science. And they work very closely with myself and my team in the Wilson Advising Center. So we're always communicating to make our services as best as possible for our students. So you will see that our college is comprised of majors that are in disciplines of social sciences and humanities. And so our social sciences, our anthropology, African American and African diaspora studies, Asian and Asian American studies, gender and sexuality studies, Latinx and Latin American studies. We have a social science studies, a multidisciplinary studies that can be social science in nature. We have political science, psychology, and sociology. On the humanities side, we have English, which also has a creative writing concentration and a professional writing concentration option. We have a history major, philosophy, which also has a law and justice concentration. And we have our world languages and cultures. And for majors, we offer French, German studies, Romance languages, and Spanish. So we have 20 majors for students to choose from, and they fit into 9 different departments. Just out of curiosity, if you want to chat in the type in the chat what major you may be considering potentially if you were to be in liberal arts. I'll give you a moment to do that. It just helps me to know what maybe to focus on a little bit more. Anyone want to chat in there? Or you're not sure yet? English and creative writing, awesome. Psychology, awesome. All right. Well, ironically, my major was psychology and my minor was English. So, so that's kind of cool. Two of you are thinking about majors that I majored and minored in. And I myself also graduated from UNLV. I'm a double alum, and my undergrad is from the College of Liberal Arts. Like I said, my major was psychology, my minor was English, and then my master's is from College of Education, Higher Ed Leadership. So I'm very passionate about UNLV and our college. So these are our majors, and then we also have 24 minors that students can choose from. Minors are not required to graduate. They're nothing that you have to stress about. I just like to inform students that we do have lots of minor options, and you'll see a lot of the majors options are also minor options, but we also have additional minor options that are not majors. So for example, we have a Chinese minor, a classical studies minor, we have a neuroscience minor. We also have Italian and Japanese as minors, and religious studies, and American Indian and Indigenous studies. These aren't majors, but you can do minors in these areas as well. And I always say minors are, there's two kind of philosophies for minors. For me, my minor was in English with my major in psychology, and one might think, well, they're not really compatible. And for me, it was just, I wanted to continue taking literature courses. I wanted to continue my writing skills, and I enjoyed English, but I didn't want to major in it. And most minors are 18 to 24 credits. So they're like 6 to 8 classes. So they're fewer classes that you have to take them for your major. And they're great too, because they also go toward those credits that you need to graduate anyway. So I was taking classes that I enjoyed, got a minor, and they went toward my credits to graduate overall. The other philosophy I have with minors is sometimes they really nicely complement your major or your career goals. So for example, we have a lot of students in psychology who wish to go on to neuroscience. So even though it's not a major, they can minor in the neuroscience and still get those types of classes. Or a lot of our students will do the languages as a minor to complement what they're going to do in the future. And your minor doesn't even have to be within our college. There's lots of great minors. Going back to psychology, we have a lot of students who do the family studies minor. And we have a lot of students who want to go to law school, and they do the pre-law, justice, and law concentration. So sometimes they just nicely complement. In our college, we do give a lot of elective credits. So it's very easy for our majors to do minors. And just not extend your graduation at all, just to complement and get those credits that you need to graduate anyway. So just something to think about. Don't stress about minors. They don't have to happen. I know there's lots that you're thinking about already, but I did want to introduce you to them. And we also offer our Great Work Certificate as well for students, which really focuses on great thinkers and great literature of the past as well. The other thing that we're really great in the College of Liberal Arts with doing is emphasizing core skills. Sometimes you'll hear them as soft skills or transferable skills. I like to refer to them as core skills. And these are things that in every liberal arts course that you take, you're going to be focusing on these things. And they do translate extremely nicely to the work world, to graduate schools, as well as professional schools. So we focus a lot on analytical and critical thinking. You get a lot of that in the liberal arts background, a lot of problem solving, creative thinking, critical reading, written expression, verbal communication, active listening, general research skills, collecting data, analyzing data, and working with and understanding people. And how do we work not only individually, but within teams? And how do we appreciate different people's skills and what they bring to the table, and diversity, and all of that. So, and again, these are skills that employers love. Medical schools, law schools, dental schools, graduate schools, they love these skills, and we bring them to the table in droves, and they know that liberal arts majors bring these skills with them. So whenever they see liberal arts majors applying for different jobs in grad schools, they're very excited to know that this person is going to bring this to the table. So lots of reading in our college and lots of critical thinking. So I know that, we have psychology and English right now. I am just going to go, especially because it's being recorded, through each of our 9 departments. And I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail with each one, but just to give a broad overview of our 9 departments. So I mentioned anthropology and our social sciences, study of humankind. Our department kind of breaks anthropology into 3 pieces, if you will. They focus on archaeology, biological anthropology, and cultural anthropology. And again, there is a minor in anthropology, so if you're like, oh, I want a minor in it, or take an anthropology class, you're welcome to do that. They have very active research labs. Actually, you could see the picture of Cheryl Anderson. She's in one of the labs, one of the biological anthropology labs. And our students do a lot of hands-on work. They go on archaeological digs. They do internships with the Clark County Coroner's Office. They have very active honor societies. So those are the types of things that they study in anthropology. For English, I know I have Olivia who's interested in English and particularly creative writing. And so there's kind of two pieces. Again, to this department, there's very much that literature base, American literature. We have literature from 19th century poetry, all kinds of different things. And so we have that piece, but then we have the creative writing, and we also have professional writing as well. And so you're going to focus on those analytical and writing skills and the reading skills. Even if you're a creative writing and professional writing major, you're still going to have your British literature, your American literature courses as well, to have that broad, well-rounded experience within English. But our creative writing program, as a side note, our master's in creative writing is a highly ranked and respected master's program. And the great thing about being in our undergraduate program, you're going to be working with those professors who are a part of that highly ranked master's program. They teach also a lot of the undergraduate creative writing classes. And so you're learning from the best, and which is always very exciting. And then again, we also have the professional writing as well, which is always very beneficial for any type of profession you're going into. Oop, I can't move. There it is. We also have history on the humanities side. And a lot of times students think, oh, that's memorizing dates and deadlines and just, presidents. But it's so much more broader than that. Embracing the panorama of the past. And in our university too, we have, of course, focusing on the United States history, past, present as well to some extent. And we also have, we reach into the world, what's going on in, all different parts of the country. So it's very broad in what they study and it is so much more than studying dates and times and presidents. And so as you can see, it's such a great background for awards. Daniel Wakwar was one of our 2015 Truman Scholars, and he was a history major. And that Truman Scholar is actually a very competitive national program, and he was competing with students from UCLA and Harvard and MIT and all different prestigious schools, and he was one of our students who received this award. And I think a lot of that helped with his history background as well. I know he was also a poli-sci minor. The interdisciplinary gender and ethnic studies department, as you saw on the major slide, they comprise of the African American and African diaspora studies, and the Asian American studies, the Latinx and Latin American studies, gender and sexuality studies, multidisciplinary studies, and social science studies. So they are very interdisciplinary in nature, and they're very well-rounded, and they span all kinds of different disciplines as well. They're taking some courses from different departments, not only in our college, but across campus as well. So they're a wonderful department also. And then we have our philosophy major as well, and they study everything. They question everything. Why do we exist? Is there, why do we have law? And, a lot of analytical thinking and evidence and reasoning and critical thinking skills. So we have also a minor in philosophy as well. And again, I mentioned those students who are maybe considering going to law school. There is the law and justice concentration for both the major and the minor. So some students like to also declare that as an option. And they are a very Also, another program that has an ethics bowl, and they're very involved with their students as well. And actually, all of our majors are. You'll see in another slide, all of our majors have very active clubs and honor societies and events that they put on for their students. I encourage you to go to the different websites for our college, and they are very jam-packed with great information for our students and resources as well. Political science is a very large department on our campus as well. And our poli-sci department kind of breaks into 6 subfields. So they have American politics, public policy, public law, international relations or foreign policy, and comparative politics and political theory. So you get a very well-rounded, broad overview of those different aspects of political science. And I always have to say, with political science, I think they have one of the best internship programs on this entire campus. It's very well established and solid. I have students who go up to Carson City for a semester. When legislation is in session, they take their classes online even before where we're at now. So they continue with their degree progress, and then they get this wonderful experience. I've had students who in the summer go to Washington, D.C. They've worked with Dina Titus, Harry Reid, so, and it's all political parties. And so there's no like geared one toward the other, but they have such great experiences. And of course we have wonderful internships in Las Vegas as well. So students don't have to travel, but they do legal internships, they do the campaigning and the political internships, and they also have broadcasting internships as well. Psychology. So I know Kayla is interested in psychology, and that was my major. Psychology is actually the largest department in our college, and almost maybe one of the largest on campus. We have about 1,700 students just in the psychology major alone. That's not even the minor, and that's not the neuroscience minor. So it's a very large department. It's a very hands-on department, and it's studying, how do we think and behave and feel, the human brain, how is that contributing to our emotions and our wellness and how we think and our memory. And there's so many different aspects that they're researching, and we have numerous research labs for students to participate in, and they do encourage undergraduate students to get involved in these labs. I myself, as an undergraduate, participated in Dr. Carney's school refusal clinic as an undergrad, and I did research. I was fortunate to actually have been published by the time I graduated, because Dr. Carney included me in that piece as well. So they're very involved with their undergraduate students, very involved. Psych-Chi is their honor society, psychology club. I would definitely encourage you to go on their website and look at all the different labs. They range. We have a baby rebels lab, and we have the school refusal clinic. We have professors who are studying Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease and schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. And so the research areas really range. And they're very active as well. And then I always think sociology is a cousin of psychology, because it's still understanding human behavior, but not so much at the individual level, but more the societal level. How do we fit in society? Why do some people conform? Why do some people deviate? Again, a wide range of topics that they study as well, from marriage and family to religion, crime and delinquency, leisure and sports, gender. There's a higher education course in sociology. And they also do a lot of research. They have very active clubs as well, the Sociology Club and their honor society, and their faculty are also very engaged with their students also. And then we have our final department, and I did them alphabetically, so there was no preference of any of our departments. The world languages and cultures. And just wonderful to have the background of knowing another language. And I know probably some of you in high school are taking a language. I know I did German in high school. So you could either choose to continue the language that you're in now, or you could, venture out into a new language that you want to learn, like Japanese or Chinese or Italian, or Greek or Latin, courses that you may not have been exposed to in high school. And I think it's always wonderful to have knowledge to speak another language. And I think it's just a wonderful skill. And they look at things from a linguistic perspective, a composition written perspective, and also a cultural perspective in these different languages. So I think it's a very well-rounded perspective that they give to students. So those are our 9 departments, and then we are the Wilson Advising Center, again, which I'm the director of, and so we support all the departments within the College of Liberal Arts, and we work with all the students who have majors and minors within those fields that I just discussed. We help students with class scheduling, ensure degree progress is being made. We do have pre-law advising services, and Oak Vichykul is our pre-law coordinator, and he'll be doing a presentation at 10 today, 10 a.m. After my second presentation. So if you'd like to join that, please do. We help students get connected to resources, opportunities like internships, research labs, and we just engage in discussion. What do you want to do in the future? So we go even beyond that. Like, what do you want to do for a career? Do you want to go to graduate school, professional school? And what are the things that you can be doing right now in college besides going to your classes, maybe outside of your classes, that will help you make a great candidate for what you want to do in the future? And just empowering students to be proactive in achieving their educational goals. I touched a little bit about some of the other reasons to be a liberal arts majors, like our very active honor societies and clubs, some of the internships, and not just political science. We have internship opportunities for all of our majors. We have actually created a new course where our students can actually sign up no matter what discipline they're in our college and do an internship. And it's very robust and some excellent opportunities. I mentioned the research labs. We also have a lot of students who will study abroad, participate in service learning activities to give back to the community. Liberal arts is an excellent foundation for medical school, law school, MBA programs, graduate school, and all different careers. Our students compete for very prestigious national awards, and we have very passionate faculty and staff who are dedicated to our students. And we just like to say it's the place to be as well. This obviously is not an exhaustive list of the different careers that our students go into. I put academic advisor at top because that's what I went into. But you could see we go into all different types of fields, from business fields like advertising and human resources to newscasting, reporting, lobbyist, journalist, curator, editor, research assistant. So there's so many different fields that we can go into. We're not limited by our degrees in any stretch of the imagination. I know a lot of times, you get that question, what are you going to do as a liberal arts major? And I say, almost anything you want to do. If you want to be a nurse, go into nursing. If you want to be an engineer, go into engineering. But otherwise, a liberal arts education is just a wonderful, well-rounded education. And I mentioned those core skills. Those are just transferable for any type of field. Just some of your next steps to becoming a rebel. I know some of you have already applied, which is wonderful. If you're a senior or a transfer student, if you haven't already done so, completing the admissions application online, completing your FAFSA, which is your financial aid application, and making sure your high school transcripts are in. If you've taken the ACT, SAT, to submit those scores, as well as your immunization records. It always helps us too if you're taking advanced placement or international baccalaureate classes and you take the exam to submit those scores to see if you're going to be awarded college credit. And if you're doing like CSN high school or any other college credit, to make sure that you submit all of those transcripts as well. I always like to end with a quote by Steve Jobs, who we always think is very, STEM oriented, science, technology, engineering, math. But even he said, technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities that yields us the result that makes our hearts sing. So even he appreciated the liberal arts, the social sciences, and the humanities. I believe that we are almost out of time right now, but I thank all of you so much for joining me this morning. And of course, go Rebels. I hope that this was helpful to you and gave you a very broad and quick overview of our very large college.